Welcome to this first video showing the gameplay from Skirmish here in the first season of Silver Age in Jyväskylä. This is my first time adding commentary to such a video, so we will see how it goes. Our first match here is a ranger matchup, Azalea versus Riptide, two quite different approaches to the class. Players are just setting up. We can expect Azalea to be the aggressor here, trying to pump up her arrows to become really big and powerful, hopefully with Dominate. And Riptide will be taking a more defensive approach with lots of traps, which conveniently can, thanks to Riptide's ability, of course, play around Dominate. Because if Riptide plays a card from hand, he does get to put a card from his hand into his arsenal. For example, a trap card that can then be defended with from arsenal. So the players are discussing if Riptide is indeed a ranger, wielding a sword. Azalea, of course, using the classic Death Dealer bow.
Is he a ranger if he has a sword?
And even the specialization quiver. But Riptide, we are not expecting to see a bow from Riptide. Azalea players' playmat is an iconic cultural artifact here in Finland. It's called the kurkkumopo, and it is a vehicle that looks like a cucumber. Great way to get around. We can see some vibrations coming from people slapping the table. Apologies for that. This is not a very professional camera rig, but hopefully it will suffice. Alright, players are shuffling, so we're almost ready to get into the game. Azalea here, equipped with the new boots from Compendium of Wraith, Bolton boots, that will allow her to go again to an arrow. And Riptide, the classic Blade Beckoner, full suite of armor. And there with Talishar, the broken blade, a sword that anyone can use, and it attacks for 4, but it breaks after the 3rd use. So here we see Riptide creating a Quicken token under the opponent's control. This is a new Compendium of Wraith card which can set you up for activating the condition of a trap card. Or am I misremembering how that card works? Apologies. Quickening Sand lets you create a quicken token under target hero's control, not just the opponent. So Riptide chose to make the quicken token for themselves here. And playing the... yes. So that comes the second attack here from Arsenal, which is a... interesting way to play an aggressive line here on the first turn, without setting up an Arsenal. So this card results in Azalea getting a Bloodrot Pox, because it was defended. Classic opening here. Ravenous Rabble revealing a an infecting shot there from the top. So it's 4 go again, since that was a red card. Riptide choosing to use some equipment here. And a defense reaction that reloads the arsenal. Fully defended. So what's next for Azalea? Activating Death Dealer is going to draw up the infecting shot, so we won't be able to get that into the arsenal with Dominate. Can't quite make out the cards available to Azalea there, but we'll see what happens. Death Dealer, of course, is a great way to fill your hand with more cards, but when the card you're drawing is another arrow, it's not necessarily going to help you all that much. So here we see the hands utilized to get a Bolton shot in on the combat chain. So it got +1 from the equipment, so it has go again. So a pretty wide turn so far. Some more equipment coming in here. Maybe Riptide wants to keep some cards to swing back on the next turn. And we see a trap come down, which is Pitfall Trap that will deal 2 damage to the attacking hero unless they pay you 1 resource. There's already the Bloodrot Pox there hovering on Azalea's side of the board, so blue cards would be nice, perhaps. But I don't think that is available at the moment. So damage taken from the Pitfall Trap, and the Bolton shot was fully covered. So Death Dealer gets activated, placing a drill shot, which attacks for 4. when it hits, it can put a minus counter on equipment, forcing Riptide to basically just use up that equipment to not miss out on its block value. Surprisingly wide turn we got here. And Azalea, of course, drawing up that infecting shot that we saw from the Ravenous Rabble, which will be set up in the arsenal. Battlefront Bastion comes in here to cover up some extra points of damage. Players just getting a confirmation on Battlefront Bastion's ability, which does not trigger when it defends together with an equipment. So 1 damage comes through from the drill shot. Infecting shot loaded up in the arsenal. And it's back to Riptide with only 1 card in hand, which... Yes, and the Blood Rot box does deal its 2 points of damage there. So Riptide getting rewarded for that turn 1 play. I think I saw a boulder trap there, which is going to be used to swing the sword. Yellow traps can swing a sword in Riptide, which can be handy. So the first Wrath counter comes down on Talishar. 1 down, 2 attacks to go from that sword. Azalea chooses to take the damage. With an arrow already in arsenal, maybe we will see an Azalea activation this turn. Read the glide path. Opting for 1. Is it an arrow? It's kept on the top. +3 so far. Another one. Choosing to keep that card on top. The next arrow has +6 buff so far. Release the tension, gives +3 and prohibits the usage of defense reactions. And we see a lace with Blood Rot, which gives an arrow the on hit of creating a Blood Rot box token. The arrow was an arrow off the top, and perfectly aligned 0 cost arrow here with its own +2 boost, which gives it, that's a total of 6 pump, and it's a 5, so we've got 12, 17, no defense reactions, Blood Rot box on hit with Dominate. That's a pretty strong attack there. $17 and 2 on the potentially 2 more damage at the end step, so it is in some ways a lethal attack. Release the tension should prevent defense reactions from defending here. But maybe the players missed it. My apologies. They can't be played from Arsenal, this chain link. But that was from hand. I don't know all the cards. That hits in for a solid 14 damage. Riptide's whole trap thing countered by release the tension. Two reds pitched for Talishar. That's not quite enough to put a lot of pressure on Azalea. And we can surmise from this that the Bloodrock's pox will not be paid for this turn, leaving Riptide at 2 life at the end of this turn. So it's looking pretty scary for Riptide here. Yeah, Azalea blocking with an arrow. That was probably just a surplus card in that hand. And using some boots. So now the Bloodrot Pox takes Riptide down to a scary life total. But as I remarked earlier, Riptide has ways to get around Dominate, as long as Release the Tension has not been played. So okay, Talismanic Lens used to opt. Azalea taking a moment to consider exactly the right way to put those cards. Of course, keeping in mind that Death Dealer will draw the topmost one, and then the second one could potentially be placed into the arsenal and given Dominate using Azalea's ability. When your opponent is at 2 life, naturally dominating seems quite handy. With Garland of Spring available to activate Death Dealer, we could potentially see a full red turn here. Okay, there's a blue pitch card to activate Death Dealer. Loading a drill shot and drawing a card. Lace with Bloodrot. Just making sure that if Riptide takes any damage this turn, it's going to be very scary. And then a +3. Azalea activated. Surely there's an arrow coming in here. There is an arrow. Sedation shot. Threatening inertia. When it hits, it makes an inertia. I believe that it received an aim counter, so that it is coming in for 6. No? No. So it is a 5 and it has been pumped +3 twice, so it's coming for 11, and it gained Dominate from Azalea's ability. And it's threatening 2 extra damage with the Bloodrot, so taking any damage here seems very dangerous for Riptide. Sorry, yeah. Yes. But of course with Dominate, maybe. Yes, that does it. Covering 11 through Dominate is not so easy. Yeah, with Riptide having a defense reaction for 4 from hand and 4 from arsenal, that's still only 8. With a preloaded arsenal, the reactor, it's possible, but that was not the case here. So, yeah. Well, that concludes the first game of this skirmish. I hope my commentary was useful in some way. I'll see you in the next one.